Are you wondering how much money can you potentially make at Dehkia Thornwood and Black Desert Online? Well, I got you covered in this week's video, continuing with the money per hour grind series, so you're not wasting your time. And speaking of your time, there are going to be timestamps down below. So just click on what section you're interested in. But hey, if you want to watch the full video, that works for me as well. But in this video, I'll be showing you the location, rotations, mechanics, and then finally looking at the loot slash potential money per hour. So first, to my community who watches me on a weekly basis, you should be proud of me. For the very first time ever, I actually tried out a full-blown elixir rotation, and honestly, it wasn't as bad setting it up as I thought it was going to be. Now, I did run into a little bit of an issue, which I wasn't able to get every elixir that I needed on the market, but I was able to get most of them. Now, did it help me? I did feel that I was able to survive a little bit better. I did still die, which I think I died 2 times, my first hour, and then my second hour, I didn't die at all. So, hey, I was actually gaming for once. And then the third hour, I think I got a little full of myself and I ended up dying 3 times. But fortunately, I did not lose any high value crystals. So I think I got lucky on that aspect. Also, my normal disclaimer, this video is geared towards a person who may be checking out the spot for the first time. So your money per hour may be a little less at first and then, improve after you get a few hours under your belt. Also, I'm not perfect, so if I happen to leave anything out that you think is important for this spot, then let me know down in the comments. But let's jump right on in. So this spot is going to be in Odalita, right beside Odraxia. So if I zoom out here, we can see that the spot is located. And I actually got confused at first because I thought the spots were up here, but they're actually down here. And you can see if I zoom out, Odraxia is right here. And then if I zoom all the way out, we have Heidel over in this area here. And so, yeah, once you get here, there are 4 spots, which here's a picture of those spots. And in terms of like rotation, there is no specific rotation. You're just going to go to one of those specific spots. So you can see right here is one of them. And you're just going to turn your lantern on, and then the mobs will just spawn in that specific spot. So you don't have to leave that area. But I will show you those spots right now.
In the forest deep and dark, swinging swords we make our mark. Someone whispers loud and clear, victory and loot are near. Monsters lurking in the shade, endless battles never fade. Every step is just a test, only the strong survive this quest. Running all night, feeling the fight. Dehkia calls us, it's a warrior's right. Struggle and sweat, no time to reset. In the black desert, we won't forget. Adapt and conquer, never quit. Skills and tactics, time to fit. Endless quest by firelight. Dehkia Thornwood, endless night. Dehkia Thornwood, endless night. No friends by my side. In this battle I take pride. Challenges don't make me weak. Through the struggle, goals I seek.
So you will need the Dehkia lantern in order to access these spots, which if you don't have it, it's super easy to get. All you have to do is just complete this quest line right here, which you have to be level 61, and it'll be under your suggested. And like I said, you just go here and then you click it, and then it'll navigate you to the place that you need to go to. And then it probably takes a few minutes honestly, to complete this quest line. It doesn't take very long at all. And then once you complete it, you'll get the Dehkia's lantern, and you'll also get fuel as well once you complete the quest line. So pretty straightforward. So gear, let me pull up the monster zone info here at this spot. And so if we pull it up, we have this here. And then we'll just view total stats. And then you can see that the recommended AP is going to be 950. And then the recommended DP is going to be 440. And then the max AP limit that's going to be restricted is going to be 1,000. So definitely a pretty in-game spot requiring some decent gear in order to grind at this area. So mechanics, these mobs do have CCs, which will greatly affect your ability to maximize your trash loot and increasing your risk of dying. So remember to hit V when needed to avoid dying. Also, highly recommend setting up a resistance crystal setup to prevent you from being CC'd, which I think would have greatly increased my trash per hour. These mobs do knockbacks, so you could run like 2 ancient magic crystal of nature fighting spirit, and then 1 black magic crystal intimidation to help kind of get that 100% resistance. So again, you're trying to maximize your trash loot and then also preventing you from dying, potentially losing a very high value crystal. There are 3 waves at this spot, with the first wave being the most common, which is called a group of a hib has appeared. This phase will have 3 of the bat-looking monsters that will spawn. You will want to make sure to at least kill 2 of the bats for the next spawn to happen. So try to focus them while you're killing the summoning mobs. Now, the second different wave that will happen is called a group of awakening ahib, and this will happen after the first previous waves. And then the third different wave that can happen is called a sense of presence of a powerful void energy, which is where a DK boss will spawn, which can do some crazy damage in CCU. So you want to try to avoid her CCs as much as possible. This phase will happen after you have completed 5 of the second wave phases. So buffs that you may want to run to be more efficient at clearing could include a simple craw mill if you're under the monster AP cap, or potentially the exquisite mill if you're over the monster AP cap, which that means you're pretty yoked. And then you have the frenzy drought, or the corrupt frenzy drought, the tent, villa buff, church buffs, Vel's heart, the best in slot artifacts, or if you don't have those, the general AP monster artifacts is fine. And you can use any PvE Lightstone combination that you can afford. I'm broke, so this is the one that I'm running. Also, Kama damage is going to be important at this spot, so you could stack that as well with your crystals / lightstones. Also, most in-game grinders here are running a full-blown elixir rotation. So, if you're serious about coming here, then you may want to look at doing an elixir rotation, which it will greatly help with the survivability and damage output, which would look something like this. And again, it can be a little expensive, and maybe when you're first trying out this spot, you may just stick with the other buffs, and then you can try running the elixir setup. So it kind of just depends on your play style and your preference. But like I said, most people are running full-blown elixir rotations at these in-game spots. So looking at the loot, I have the monster zone info pulled up. And so starting at the top with the equipment, we have the artifacts, right? And so with these, for the most part, you're just going to process these down using simple alchemy to get the purified light stones, and you can sell those on the market. And then moving over here, we have the ominous ring. And so I didn't even get a single ominous ring the 3 hours that I was here. But you can see you can sell this on the market for around 50 million, give or take. And then moving down below, we have the Spectre's Energy, which is going to be used to craft your Black Star gear. And I usually just sell this on the market for 30 million. And then we have the Black Leaf, right? And so you need 100 of the black leaves in order to make one of these, which is the left lung. And so this is really kind of a cool item here because once you get enough of the pieces, you can craft a pretty somewhat rare costume. It used to be a lot more rare. Now more people have this costume, so it's not as rare. It's kind of more common. But either way, it's a pretty cool looking costume. I don't have it. I never really tried to grind for it, but it's just kind of a cool aspect. And I wish BDO had more of these items in the game just to give you something else to kind of strive for. So highly recommend, checking out the costume if you haven't seen it yet. It's pretty cool. And then we have the black stones, and so this right here you can sell on the market, or you can use it to enhance your gear, or you can exchange these to get the fell stacks. Next here we have Master of the Pure Magic, and so this is going to be used to, it's going to be an ingredient to make the flawless magical blackstone, which is required to enhance the Black Star gear. Next here we have the Forgotten Limbo Seal, and so as you're grinding at these high-end grind spots, especially this one here, you can get the Forgotten Limbo Seal. And essentially, once you get one of these, you can use this to teleport you to an instance trial. And if you complete the trial, then you have the opportunity to get the Deboreka accessory. And so, which is a very in-game, highly sought-out accessory. And so, as you can tell, I don't have any Deboreka accessories here. They are a lot more common now. They sit on the market, but they are super expensive, right? So like over 700 million for one of these, except for one of the Deboreka accessories. Moving on here, we have the Akrad crystal. And so, well, this is an ingredient to make the crystal, right? So you need this, including a few other items here in order to make the Akrad crystal. So you can either use the crystal or sell it on the marketplace. Next here we have the Kaffir stones, right? And so most people are probably going to just sell these on the market. But if you do need them, then these are important to get to Kaffir level 10, right? And so once you get to Kaffir level 10 on one of your regular pieces of gear, you combine that piece with a specific flame in order to make one of the in-game armor pieces here, right? So, yeah. Next here, we have the Minimus Night Fang. And so you can't sell these on the market. So you're just going to stack these up as you're grinding. And at some point, you'll just combine these to make the scroll. And it's just going to be another way of giving you an opportunity to make some more money on the side. And so you can see items obtainable from the scroll is Embers of Despair, Spectre's Energy, Kaffir Stone, Ancient Spirit Dust. Ancient Spirit Dust. So you need 5 of these and 1 black stone in order to make 1 Kaffir Stone. So again, just another way of making a little bit more money here. And then finally, the trash loot. So you can see that the trash here is going to sell for 39,000. So let's see what I got in the few hours that I was here, which is using a level 2 loot scroll with no Agris. You can pay 50 million to get the tent buff for a 50% increase on your drop rate. But before we go over my hours, let's take a look at Garmoth here. So the potential average money per hour at 138% drop rate, which is what I'm mostly at if there is no specific drop rate event going on, and using a yellow loot scroll is around 1.1 billion, with the average trash being around 17,000. So, that's a number you can potentially expect if your gear is at the right spot. And if you get efficient with the rotation, the mechanics have potential resistance crystal build on, and if your class is good with PvE. Also important to note, your money per hour is going to vary based on your drop rate. So let's dive into it. Let's look at the few hours that I was here, which I was mainly sitting at 137% drop rate for I think the first 2 hours that I was here, and then I think it was like 188% my third hour. But these hours were also done with my striker, which I died quite a few times my first and third hour, which obviously greatly affected my trash loot. So my first hour at 137% drop rate was 377 million and 17.3k trash. And then another hour, I got around 580 million. And for the trash loot, I got around 10.2k. So pretty solid. As you can tell, I didn't die that hour either. And then my final hour, I got 528 million. And then for the trash loot, I got around 8.1k. So my overall verdict of this place is that, at least for me, this spot is not worth it, at least as of right now, with how much money that I'm having to use for elixirs and to keep the lantern charged, and just the risk of me dying potentially, right? Losing an expensive crystal, is very, very high. And yeah, I'm not making much money here, right? And the reason why you're probably coming here is because of the money, which I definitely think you can make over the billion, but for me, I'm just not there yet. Hopefully I will eventually get there, but for me, I'm just not there yet. But hey, if you made it this far into the video, you're awesome. And have you tried this spot out? And if you have, what are your kind of numbers looking at? Are you making over a billion here, or are you kind of in the same situation that I'm in, making subpar money? But yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching the video, and if you're bored, check out this other video right here. But hey, I will see you next time, YouTube. Peace.